talk for just a moment as we start our practice about compassion. I've been sharing this in my classes the last few days about traveling to Hawaii recently to visit my dad and my daughter, who both live there. And but the funny part about that whole experience is that I traveled with my mother, which added another layer, as you can probably imagine. My parents have been divorced for many years, and so we're all together under one roof, and it was totally fine, and it was a lot at the same time, right? And I just noticed myself feeling really judgmental, especially of my mom. I don't know, for some reason she was just bringing up a lot of stuff. And I've been thinking about it a lot since I got back. And, like trying to really see what I'm judgmental about in myself, right? Because I think really that's probably what it's about anyway. And seeing her through a more of a lens of compassion and empathy, and recognizing that she's a fellow human being walking this planet, and doing the best she can in many ways. And so trying to really hold that perspective through my interactions with her and also with everyone around me. And you just never know what someone's going through in the moment. So I was reminded of this quote by Leonard Cohen, who says, "So I must say it quickly, whoever is in your life, those who harm you, those who help you, those whom you know, and those whom you do not know, let them off the hook. Help them off the hook. Recognize the hook." So, maybe there's someone in your life you can let off the hook today. Maybe it's yourself, I don't know. But putting that in motion in our practice this morning, as we practice together, as we move and as we breathe, and as we practice this present moment awareness. So find your seat, everybody. Let's allow the eyes to close and start to tune into your breath. And taking a moment to just let your body, let your essence really arrive and land here in your practice. Maybe there's a particular personal intention you'd like to set for practice today. Or you can work with this notion of compassion and less judgment. And if you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, you can begin that whenever you're ready, engaging gently muscles at the back of your throat. In this way of slowing the breath down and bringing a little bit of toning or intention behind the breath. So you'll create a bit of an oceanic sound, a whisper sound as you breathe in this way. Good, and on your next in-breath, let's roll the shoulders back and lift up through your chest, open the heart. Exhale, round your spine, so tuck your tailbone back a little bit, chin to chest. Inhale, lift up, so roll the shoulders back, open. And exhale, tuck and round spine. Good, and one more like that, inhale. And exhale. Good. start to take the whole upper body side to side, or anywhere you'd like to go here. Just into some intuitive, mindful movement, maybe a little bit of a twist, or walking your fingertips forward into a little pull. So moving in your own way and at your own pace, feeling your breath. And see if you can coordinate movement with the breath, allowing the breath to guide you in some way. Good. And then there's no rush, but when you're ready, we're going to come forward to the hands and the knees. And so you can transition off of your block or your bolster, come to your hands and knees, and we'll continue this mindful, intuitive movement. So you can move through cat-cow, opening up the chest, lifting through the tailbone and rounding the spine, moving in that way, or maybe shifting your hips side to side or in a circle. And starting to really inhabit the body. And then whenever you're ready, we'll make our way into a downward facing dog. So hands root down to the floor, lift the hips up, push into the ground, lengthen the spine, maybe pedal just a little bit through the feet to this first down dog. Feeling the hands and the feet on the ground, on the earth. Good. And in our posture, well, in every posture, down dog in particular, balancing these qualities of effort and ease. Okay, so engaging the muscles, creating a container and a structure for your posture, that's what we refer to as stira. But then within that engagement in that structure, softening a little bit, feeling the breath, feeling some malleability, some release. That's what we refer to as sukha. So both of these present in your practice, this balance. Take one more breath here in your downward facing dog. Bend your knees a little bit. Look forward toward the top of your mat. Take a step or light hop forward. Good. Elongate your spine. So come to a flat back, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bring it in. Good. Do that one more time. So inhale, extend forward, long through your spine and torso. Exhale, fold. Good. Hang out here for just a couple of breaths. Maybe shake the head a little bit. You can come into ragdoll if that feels good. Gradual hold of opposite elbows or forearms. Take 2 more breaths here. Good. Then release the elbows. Come all the way up to standing. So feel your feet on the ground. Extend the arms up, reaching up tall. Exhale, hands together, and hand to the heart. Good. Beautiful job. Arms reach back up on in-breath. Stretch up tall, lift and lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. So lead with the heart as you fold it. Bend in the knees as you fold. Flat back as you inhale, so lengthen through the crown. Exhale, fold. And then come all the way back up to standing. So anchor your feet, stretch up, reach up, open. Exhale, hands together, heart center. Very nice, everybody. One more just like that. Inhale, extend the arms all the way up, reaching tall. And exhale, forward fold. So heart leads, swan dive forward, fingertips toward the floor. Halfway lift on the in-breath, so that Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold it all the way in. Good. Engage the belly, come all the way up to standing. Extend the arms out wide. Reach up, maybe a little mini back bend here. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Very good. Arms go back up on in-breath. Reach up tall, fingertips toward the sky. And then exhale, again, swan dive forward. Fingertips down toward the floor. Take your time, no rush. Halfway lift on the in-breath. Good. Now take your hands to the floor and make your way to plank pose, upper push-up. We're going to hold here for just a couple of breaths. So shoulders over wrists and elbows. Pull the belly in strong through your abdominals and your core. You can always come down to the knees for support here or go directly back to downward facing dog. Take one more breath, push the ground away, and then rock the whole body forward just a couple of inches. Lower down as slowly as you can, Chaturanga Dandasana. Come all the way down to the belly. Slide your elbows and your forearms forward for a Sphinx pose. So pulling the rib cage and the chest forward. Pressing the tops of your feet and knees into the floor, opening up the heart. Shoulders away from the ears. Take one more breath. And then release back down. Slide your hands back next to your mid-ribs. Tuck your toes under. Squeeze through your shoulder blades. Press back up through plank. And then all the way back to a downward facing dog. Good, you guys. And then stretch it out. Keep your spine and your torso long and lengthened here in your down dog. Shoulders away from the ears. Sometimes it's helpful to bend your knees a little bit and think about your navel lifting up and back toward the spine, hollowing out the belly. Tailbone and sits bones lift up. Take one more breath. See if you can find just a little more space here. And then bend into the knees, look forward, step or hop toward your hands. Elongate your spine. So halfway lift on the in-breath. Exhale, fold, and bring it in. Come back up to standing on your next inhale, stretch it up, reach tall, open. Exhale, hands together, heart center. Good, let's flow through that one more time. Inhale, stretch the arms up, reach up tall. Exhale, forward fold. Again, the heart leads as you fold all the way in. Halfway lift on the in-breath, extend. Take hands down, you can step or hop your way back. Plank pose, hold for a moment. Lower down, Chaturanga. So upper to lower push-up all the way down to the belly. This time, Cobra pose. So open up your chest, pull your shoulders back and lift. Very good, everybody. Exhale, downward facing dog. Push through your palms, lift your hips up, thighs back, heels toward the floor. Breathe here. Good. Notice the presence and the quality of your breath. Relax your neck. Take one more in-breath here. A little lift up through the tail, through the sits bones. Very good, you guys. Bend your knees, look forward, come back up top, top of the mat. Halfway lift, so lengthen and extend, flat back. Exhale, fold. Perfect. Bend your knees now. We're going to sit into a chair pose. Utkatasana, which means fierce. So fierce pose here. Pull your knees and your thighs back some. The weight shifts a little bit toward the heels of the feet. Strong through your legs, your quads and inner thighs. Sit a little bit deeper. And then bend your elbows and goalpost the arms. So you're creating a little bit of space between the shoulders and the ears, the base of your neck. Take one more breath here. Open and lift up, sit a little bit deeper. Exhale.
exhale, forward fold. Fingertips down toward the floor. Inhale to that halfway lift and lengthen. Plant your hands once again. Step or half your way back. Plank pose. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Open up the heart, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Extend your right leg back behind you. Reach it up to a three-legged down dog. Feel into this for a moment. Good. Maybe the left heel moving slightly down, or the left knee bending a little bit. Try walking your hands back just a couple of inches, not too far, a couple of inches. Keep your right leg lifted, your core strong. Walk your left hand back to about the middle of your mat. Okay, so you're coming into a funky little tripod. And then coming up onto the pads of the fingers of your left hand, use your core, and then maybe float your left hand away, coming into a little teeter-totter down dog. If this feels like it's too much, then let it go. Good, you guys. Awesome job. Left hand comes back to the floor. Pull your right knee in toward your chest. Lift through your core, round your spine. Step your right foot through into a lunge. Okay, now walk your hands, bring your hands up to your right thigh, and press the whole body, the whole upper body upright. Square off the hips. Extend your arms up alongside your ears. So we're coming into this crescent lunge position. Reach the fingertips up and then start to reach back just a little bit of a back bend. You're welcome to bend your elbows here and even bend your back knee if you like. And continue into this heart opener for 2 more breaths. Inhale, stretch it back up. Exhale, hands to the floor. I'm going to pick up the back leg, standing split. So the left leg floats up into the air. Fingertips can stay on the floor. You can use blocks here as you fold over your right leg. Option to bring your right hand or forearm back behind your right calf. Folding it in. Feel your breath here, you guys. Extend and reach and lift. One more in-breath, reaching for your left toes. Good. Now step gently that left foot to the back of your mat. Arrange your right knee so that it's stacked directly over your ankle. Left hand to the ground or a block as the right arm reaches up into a twist. A twisting lunge. Good. Perfect, you guys. Strong and engaged through that back leg, lifted through your core. Take 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. Opening your heart toward this right side of the room. Last full breath. Exhale, bring your right hand to the floor. And we're going to walk the hands all the way over here toward the left wall. Parallel your feet. Flat back as you inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, fold. Coming into this wide straddle, forward fold. Fingertips can come to the floor, towards blocks. Make sure your feet are rooted and parallel. Good, you guys. Breathe here. Perfect. On your next in-breath, halfway lift. So extend your spine. Walk your hands up toward the top of your mat. So you're back in a lunge like this, so toward me. And then step your right foot back to plank. So everybody meet up in plank pose. Now listen here, we're going to shift into side plank, so shift the weight over to your right palm. See if you can roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Stack your feet and ankles or come down to your right knee for more support. Push the ground away, pull your hips up. Maybe extend that left arm forward alongside your ear. Or pick up your left leg away from your right. Good, guys. Take one more breath here. Strong and engaged, lifted. Bring it all the way back to regular plank pose. Chaturanga, or you can go straight back to downward facing dog. Moving through this vinyasa if you choose. Good, nice breathing everybody. Great job today. On your next in-breath, let's take the left leg back. Slow and deliberate movement here, left leg reaches. And as the left leg reaches, maybe draw the right heel closer to the ground or bend your right knee a little bit. Walk your hands back a few inches toward the back of your mat. Good, perfect. Walk your right hand back so your right hand is about the middle of your mat and you come up onto the pads of your fingers. Strong and lifted through your core. Option to take your right hand away from the mat. Good. A little teeter-totter balance. Take another breath here. It's okay. Right hand to the floor. Hug your left knee in toward your chest. Step your foot all the way through. Good. And then walk your hands up to your left thigh. So your back heel is lifted, your back knee is lifted, torso upright. Square off the hips, connect to your core, and extend the arms up alongside your ears. As you reach up tall, start to open and lengthen. Maybe start to reach the fingertips back behind you. Option to bend your elbows and bend your back knee at a hover. And then continuing to open and expand through your heart. 2 more breaths. Good, and then stretch back up as you inhale. Exhale, hands to the floor. Go ahead and pick up your back leg for standing split. So shifting your weight onto your left leg, move down through your left foot as you lengthen and reach up to the right toes. Maybe hands on blocks, or you could bring your left hand to the back of your calf and fold it in. Good, perfect. Feel your breath here. Active through your top toes. Take one more full breath. And then go ahead and step that right foot to the very back of your mat and extend your left arm up for a twist. Twisting lunge. Right hand on the ground underneath your shoulder or on a block. Strong through your core. Lifted and engaged through your back leg as you continue to open up toward this side. Good. 2 more breaths here, you guys. Very nice. Open and lengthen. Exhale the left hand down. Walk your hands over to your right side. So now spin your feet so all 10 toes face the other way. Flat back as you inhale, so lengthen your spine. And then exhale, fold. Perfect. This time around, if you'd like, you can clasp your hands behind your back and open up your shoulders here. Hands pull away from the low back, or you can just keep your hands on the floor. That's fine. Good. Breathe here. Soften and relax through your neck wherever you are. Good. On your next exhale, release your hands to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk your hands back up toward the top of your mat. Very good. Step your left foot back to plank pose. Pause here. Shift your weight over to your left hand, your left palm. Maybe roll to the outer edge of your left foot for Bhaskasana. Pull your hips up. Option to come down to the knee or the forearm. Maybe take that right arm forward alongside your ear. Reach and lengthen, hips high. You can float your right leg up. Take one more breath. Awesome, you guys. All the way back to regular plank. Chaturanga, or you can go right to downward facing dog. let's just take a moment in child's pose. So come down to your knees and take a rest here, swing back toward the heels of your feet. Let the forehead rest. Nice practice, everybody. Take another breath here. And then go ahead and make your way back up to a seated or kneeling position. And we're going to play around with a pose today called crow. Crow pose is an arm balance. So we're going to be balancing on our hands and using our core mostly. I would say even more than or equal to our arm engagement, our shoulder engagement, using our core. And so essentially how this is done, a lot of you are familiar with this, but just in case you're not, we're going to try to move our knees toward our triceps, okay, and create a little bit of a shelf with the upper arm. And so I like to start in more of a bent knee forward fold, bring the hands to the ground, and lift up my heels and try to get my knees as close to my armpits as I can. They might slide down a little bit, and that's okay. As close to my armpits as I can, and I'm going to keep my head lifted. I'm not going to look down because then I'll probably crash on the ground. Look forward, shift the weight forward, push into the ground, lift my core, and maybe lift my feet off of the mat. Really pulling in the navel toward the spine. Okay? Let's give it a shot. I love the newbies. They're like, what the hell, Mike? What are you doing for your birthday? Alright, so here we go. Knees up to your triceps. Look forward, don't look down, look forward. Shift your weight forward a little bit, pull the belly in. Maybe take your feet off the mat, one at a time. Look at you guys! Amazing! Okay, give it a rest for a second. Move through your wrists. You got it, shake it out a little bit. Okay, this is going to be the next party trick at your next party. All right, so let's try it one more time. Okay, so hands to the floor, knees up toward the triceps. Good, look forward, pull the belly in, use your core. Good, good. Nice, you guys. Beautiful. Fantastic. All right, come to a standing forward fold. And you can either come back to a ragdoll pose, or if you can slide your hands underneath your feet like this and keep your knees as bent as you need to be, you can stand on your hands and give a little stretch for your hands and your wrists. This is called gorilla pose. Standing on the hands or the palms and giving a little bit of a stretch for your hands. Take one more breath here. And then let's release out of that. Come all the way up to standing. So we're going to stretch up through the arms. And then bring the hands together, the heart. So working with a little standing balance today. We'll stand on the right foot first. Pick up the left leg. Okay? You can start with the hands on the hips. Guess I got a mirror view of that. So left leg up. And then cross your ankle over top the knee like this. Flex your foot back and then bend your standing leg. Just any amount, any degree. It's okay to wobble, come out of the pose. That's part of the practice. Flex your left toes back and then extend the arms. So we're in a one-legged chair. Good. With a little opening up of the hip. Take another breath here. Option to bring your hands down and kind of fold in. So bring your chest a little bit toward your left shin. Good. Breathe here. If you have a block handy, you can always bring your fingertips down to your block. Take 2 more breaths. Good. And then you're going to bring it all the way back up. Rewind what we did. Pick up your left leg, flex your toes back. This is standing stack. Lift your leg up as high as you're able. And then kick your left leg back into a warrior 3. So you're going to kick the leg back and come into a little balance like this. Arms can reach forward or they can go back along your sides. Take another full breath here. And then step your left foot to the back of your mat. Come all the way up to a high lunge. Just for a breath. Ground your back heel and open it up to a warrior 2 pose. Okay, so take your time to get here. Push into the floor equally through both feet. Your arms are reaching out parallel with the ground. Front leg is bent, back leg is straight. Relax your shoulders. Take another breath here. Drop your arms. Clasp your hands behind your back. Open up the shoulders and lift up through your chest. Very good. And then drop your right shoulder down toward the right knee or the inside of the knee. If that doesn't feel good to your hips or knees and shoulders, just bring your hands down to the ground or to a block. Good, everybody. Take another breath here. Let's make our way back to an upright position. Re-extend the arms and straighten the front leg. Good. So triangle pose. The right toes are still pointing forward. Legs are straight. Reach the arm, the fingertips forward a little bit. Create some space in the body. And then the right hand moves down. You can use a block here underneath your right fingertips or right hand. Left arm stretches up skyward, opening through the chest. Broaden and expand your breath here. Everybody take 1 more. Let's look down at the floor. Bend into the front leg. 1 more standing balance here. We're coming into a half moon. So bending into that front leg and then extending the left arm and the left leg up. Ardha Chandrasana. So it's kind of like a cartwheel that's frozen in space. So put a little bend in that standing leg if that's helpful. Lots of different variations here. So if you want to take a half bow or unweight your right hand, you can do that. Take 1 more full breath, everybody. And then left hand back to the floor. Step all the way back to a lunge. Plant your hands and stretch your right leg back behind you. 3-legged down dog. Bend your right leg, open your hip. So point your knee out and up a little bit. Take an extra breath, feel that stretch. And then we're going to bring this right leg all the way into Pigeon Pose for a hip Piriformis Stretch. So make sure your hips are square here. We're not like collapsed over to the side. You can also do what Jenny's doing here, figure 4 on your back. That's an option too. Walk your hands forward and forward. Several breaths here, down into your right hip. And last last full breath here, everybody. We're going to ease our way back to this upright position. And we're going to make our way back to hands and knees. And so as you push through your hands, you can take this right leg out from under you. And then I'd like for you to extend your right leg straight back. So the one that was just in pigeon goes straight back. Keep your shoulders and your hips square, your belly strong. And then see if you can take your left arm forward for a little spinal balance, a little core here. Keep your breath steady and stable, lengthening from the left fingertips forward to the right toes back. As you exhale, pull your left elbow towards your right knee, come into a little crunch. And then inhale, stretch it back out long and lengthen. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, stretch it back out. And last one of these, pull it in and stretch back out. Perfect. Bend your right leg and take your left arm back behind you. Maybe grab a hold of your foot here. Kick into the hand and open up your chest. Pull your left shoulder back, draw your heart forward. Keep everything else as stable as possible. Again, that balance of effort and ease. Last full breath here. Let go of your foot, re-extend. Bring your left hand to the ground and cross your right toes over to the left side of your mat like this. And then turn to your left and see if you can just look at your right toes look past your left shoulder to your right toe. Lean into the stretch a little bit, maybe shift your hips a little bit to your right, feeling into that side body stretch. Good. Take one more breath here. And then you'll unwind out of that, bring it back to regular hands and knees. The knees go a tiny bit wider than your hips. And then we're going to extend the right arm out and up, open through the chest, and then thread the needle. So your right arm will thread underneath your left, coming down to the shoulder and to the side of the head. Breathe here. And opening up the right shoulder and upper back. Good, you guys take one more breath here. And we'll go ahead and start to unwind out of that and take the right arm back out. Reach it all the way up. And bring the hand forward. And then back to a downward facing dog. Feel your hands press down, lift your hips up. Strong through your core. Take one more breath here. Bend into your knees, look toward your hands, step or hop forward toward the top of your mat. Flat back as you inhale, so stretch forward and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Come all the way back up to standing. So anchor the feet, stretch up and open. And then hands together. All right, you guys, standing balance. Bring your hands to your hips here for a moment. And we're going to shift now into the left foot. Okay, so shift your weight to your left foot. Pick up your right leg. Right leg is lifted. And then cross your right ankle over top your left knee or left thigh. And bend your standing leg. Bend your left leg. And then extend your arms forward. Flex your toes back, protect your knee, feel into your hip stretch. Again, it's fine to wobble in this pose. Try to keep your gaze steady. So stare at something that's out in front of you that's not moving. And then maybe bring your hands down to your knee or your foot and start to fold it in. Keep your breath. And maybe bring your fingertips to the floor or a block. Good. All right. Slow and steady. Come back up. Arms reach up. Standing step. So you're going to lift your right leg up. Flex your foot back. Lift your leg up high. Kick your right leg back to a warrior three. So reach your arms forward or back along your side. So this is a standing balance. The back leg parallel with the ground. Arms can reach forward like a capital letter T. Take one more breath here. And then step your right foot to the back of your mat, coming up into that high lunge position. So both feet on the ground, take a breath. Ground your back heel, open to warrior two pose. So right heel rooted, left toes forward, extend out through your arms, shoulders soft, lengthen and lift through the spine. Drop your arms here, clasp your hands behind your back. Pull shoulders back, lift and open your chest. And then you're going to drop this forward for ostrich pose or humble warrior. So your left shoulder moves toward your knee or the inside of your left knee. Option to bring your hands to the ground if the clasp feels a little aggressive. Feel your breath here, everybody. Take one more. And then root down through your feet. Come back up to an upright position. Really extend your arms. Very good. Straighten out your left leg. Triangle pose. So reach the left arm, the rib cage, the fingertips forward, and then bring it over. Triangle. So anchor through your feet, spread through your arms. Open through your chest. Notice your breath here. See if you can lift up a little bit from the center of your chest, extending and lengthening. Take one more here. Look down at the floor, Ardha Chandrasana or half moon. Feel free to take a block with you here as you come forward and balance on that left leg. Again, almost like a cartwheel that got stuck. So try to stack your right hip over your left hip, right arm over your left arm. Option to bind, bending your back leg, or taking whatever variation suits you. Keep breathing, you guys, especially through the challenge. Take one more in-breath, float that right leg up. Bring the right hand down, step it all the way back to a lunge. So right foot to the back of your mat. Now, plant your hands and take your left leg back. So the left leg reaches. Bend your left leg, open your hip. So try to lift and stack that left hip over your right, point the knee out to the side, feel the stretch. And then left leg into pigeon. So this is our hip, Piriformis Stretch, reaching your right leg back behind you, or taking a figure four on your back. So when you're ready, you can come forward. Walk your hands and elbows and forearms forward and fold it in. Good, everybody. Breathe here in your pigeon. Good, and then we'll make our way back up. Back to an upright position. And back to hands and knees. You bring this left leg back. And then extend your left leg straight back. So the one that was just in Pigeon Pose, extend it back. Strong, connected to your core. Lengthen your right arm forward. So spinal balance, shoulders and hips stay level. Core is really strong. Reaching from front to back. Take a couple more breaths here as you lengthen. And then on your next exhale, right elbow to left knee. So you're coming into a little tuck, little crunch. Inhale, stretch it back out. And then coordinate this with your breath. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, reach it back out. Last one, exhale, pull it in. Inhale, back out. Good. Bend your left leg. Reach back with your right hand. Maybe catch the foot. Kick into the hand. Pull the shoulder back. Open up your chest. Couple more breaths here in this half bow. Kick back, shoulder back, heart lifted. Last one here, everybody. Release your foot, re-extend the arm and the leg. Bring your right hand to the ground. Cross your left toes over toward your right, the right side of your mat. Turn to your right. See if you can look at your left toes, just past your right shoulder. Good, and then lean your hips a little bit to your left if that's helpful. Breathe into your left ribs, waistline, torso, side body. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to slowly release and unwind out of that. Come back to all fours. The knees go a little bit wider than your hips. Your left arm will reach out and up. Open through your chest. Thread the needle. Left arm underneath your right. So come down to the shoulder, the side of the head. And breathing into the left side, upper back, shoulder, neck. Take one more breath here. And we'll gently start to unwind out of that. Take your left arm back out, reach it up, and bring the left hand back to the floor. Good, awesome, you guys. We're going to make our way onto our backs now and set up for a bridge pose. And so as you come back, we're going to bring the soles of the feet to the ground about hip width apart. And your arms down along your sides for a moment. See if you can just barely touch the backs of your heels with your fingertips. It's a pretty optimal placement for your feet. And then bend your elbows so your fingertips point up toward the ceiling and your elbows are right by your waistline. And before you lift your pelvis, puff up your chest. So lift your heart up. You're pushing into the floor with your elbows and your, kind of like the tops of your shoulders, or the backs of your shoulders. Push into the floor with your feet now and lift your hips, lift your pelvis, without letting your chest drop down. Now, keep your heart lifted, everybody. Lower your pelvis back down to the floor so the tailbone just barely touches. And then lift back up into your bridge. We're going to do this maybe 2 or 3 more times. Slow motion. Pelvis drops, but the heart stays lifted. And then lift your hips back up, pushing the feet away from the ground. Let's do one more here. Lower down, tailbone touches. And then push into the floor. Lift your hips up. Stay here. You can keep the arms as they are or drop your arms down. You might even interlace the fingers underneath you and shimmy the shoulders and shoulder blades a little bit closer toward one another. Keeping the chest lifted. Lift your hips up maybe a little bit higher. Stay strong through your legs. Bridge pose. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. Good. And then release the clasp. Lower the spine back down. Extend your legs out to the floor. And reach your arms up and back. So stretch your body from fingertips to toes. Good. And then release your arms back down. And we're going to do that one more time. Bridge pose. For those of you that might want to work into a full wheel, full back bend, I'll talk you through that as well. Okay, so bring the soles of your feet to the ground. Same setup, so arms can come down and just touch the backs of your heels. Bend your elbows so your fingertips point up. Push elbows and feet to the floor. Puff up your chest first. Lift your hips into a bridge. You can work with this, or maybe you take your hands to the floor next to your ears with your fingertips toward the shoulders. I like to take my hands a little bit wider toward the outer edges of my mat. Elbows up. Keep your chest lifted. Push into the ground. Come up onto the top of your head. And pause. Maybe turn your hands out slightly. And then try to straighten out your arms. Opening up your chest toward the back of the room. Good. So staying in your bridge or in your full wheel or full back bend for a couple more breaths here. Good, everybody. Awesome. And then start to lower everything back down to the ground. Hug both knees toward your chest. And start a little bit of rocking side to side. You can rock side to side or circle the knees around in one direction. And then the other. And then a happy baby pose. You grab a hold of your feet, the outer edges of your feet or your big toes, the knees are bent. Gently pulling the knees down toward the outsides of your ribs, toward your armpits. Try to lengthen your lower back, so pulling your tailbone toward the floor, trying to bring your spine more neutral instead of in that flexion. Good. Last breath here. Release your feet. Extend your left leg out to the floor and pull your right knee in toward your chest. And start to circle this right knee around in one direction. So you're mobilizing, moving your right hip joint. And then go the other way. And then bring your left hand to your right knee. Your right arm stretches out to the right. Guide your right leg over for a spinal twist. Feel your breath along your spine, muscles of your back, softening, releasing, letting go here, letting go of tension or strain or even effort in your practice, allowing the body to be a little bit more at ease. Take one more breath here. I'm going to guide the right knee back in toward the chest and stretch your right leg up toward the ceiling for just a moment. Feel your hamstrings, feel your ankle. You might even walk your hands up toward your calf or your ankle. Lift your head and shoulders and bring your forehead toward your shin. Take one more breath here. And then gently release that right leg all the way back down to the floor. Let it relax and guide your left knee in toward your chest. And we'll start to draw little circles with the left knee, moving through the left hip joint. Good, and then pause and go the other direction. Good, and then moving toward your twist. So right hand to left knee, guide that left leg over. And perhaps extending out through the left arm. And move to the spinal twist. Again, feeling your breath along your spine, starting to soften and release and slow down a little bit in our practice. Take one more cleansing breath here in your twist. And we'll start to guide it back up. Stretch your left leg straight up toward the ceiling for a few breaths. And your hamstrings, your foot, your ankle. Maybe walking your hands up to your calf or your ankle and bringing your forehead toward your shin, lifting your head and shoulders off of the mat. Take a couple breaths here. Good, and then release out of that. Extend your left leg out to the floor. Reach your arms up and back alongside your ears, giving yourself this full body stretch. And then releasing your arms down along your sides. And just take left in your practice to work into maybe an inversion or a different kind of a twist or any sort of finishing pose or sequence. Give yourself a moment to finish that up. And then you can let your body settle into Shavasana, our final relaxation corpse pose.